there are particular tools how to move from the little pond to the big pond. The reason that I stay in this work and that I both teach it and that I'm in support groups and classes and continue with my mentors and teachers is because we are creating a new mindset, but we must stay steeped in this new mindset. It needs to get inside of us and become us. And I will tell you, I have fallen flat on my face when I've decided, oh, I can do this on my own. And I want to give you a tool right now, a way to start beginning to change those habits. Okay, and the first tool to doing this is noticing, paying attention to your thoughts. That is the first step. Okay, and I use this idea of, how people turn around and they say, oh, well, that was great to see in hindsight. And that is the work that we're doing, is these habits have us in hindsight. They are happening to us. They are governing and running us. But what we get to do is to practice noticing when they're happening. And so there's several tools that I have used and that I use to help myself be in the noticing. Now that is the peripheral vision. So the model actually that I'm going to talk to you about today is taking, and I speak with my hands all the time, right? So my hands are back behind my vision. That's the hindsight. Now they're in my peripheral vision. They're at both sides of my face here, and I can kind of see them out of the side of my eyes. And then when I put them in front of me, that's foresight. That's when I can see them coming. And that's what we want to do with our habits. Okay, is we want to start with peripheral vision. Okay, now what most people do when they get that peripheral vision is they put themselves down. They say, oh, see, look at me. I have that habit. That's running me. I couldn't change that. I didn't do that because look, I'm right here in it. But instead, I want you to start celebrating that moment that you are in the peripheral vision. You go, hey, look at me. I just messed up. Oh, look at me. I did that again. But now I'm aware of it. And you have to have that awareness first, at least in the beginning of this work, to start practicing. Actually, it gets easier when we go on in this work and you get really good at it to see it coming before it even gets there. But you start with, and you don't even have to recognize it anymore. You just can feel, oh, that's not aligned with my true nature of who I am. But right now the practice is start paying attention to your thoughts. And especially when you feel icky, when you feel cruddy, when something's not, I call it a niggle, or a rattle, and something's not quite right, go, oh, what am I thinking here? Maybe it's, putting somebody else down, or maybe it's that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or whatever. Start paying attention to those thoughts as they're arising. Now, I have also done the practice of setting my smartphone with alarms on it to remind me to say, stop, what are you thinking right now? And set that in a random way throughout the day, or even on a pattern way. I figured out, anyway, that's complicated. But to set your smartphone to remind you just to stop and pay attention throughout the day in a random moment and think, oh, where is my thoughts? Now, I like to use the thermostat as a visual, not a thermometer, because you can't control that, but a thermostat, which you turn the dial on, the old-fashioned ones, or you can use the digital idea too. But you want to think about what is, and use it as kind of like a marker of what your level of thinking is. Is this low-level thinking, like, not very nice and not very kind, or is this really being with people and supportive and feels good and everything? And that would be the higher numbers on this thermostat. So you, in the peripheral vision, you want to pay attention to your thoughts and then measure them and say, oh, are these the thoughts that I want to have? Now, and celebrate them. Don't say, oh, look, see, I can't change. There I am again, because that's the thought that sends people back the most. See, I can't change. Look, I did it again. No, when you are noticing that you're doing it again, that's actually a celebration, because it's like, oh, now that I'm noticing, I can make a change. I can do something about this. And then you push that thought into forethinking, right? Forethought. And all of a sudden you see that thought coming. Oh, here's somebody going to come and kind of irritate me and get my attitude going on. And I'm going to stand up to that thought and I'm going to shake my finger and I say, you're not going to get me. And now in that moment, you begin to be able to create your thinking, to have your thoughts rather than them having you. So this week, I really encourage you to practice being in that peripheral vision. What is, I like to call it the vibrational frequency of my thoughts. What are the vibrational frequency of my thoughts? And then you can start saying, and what would I love? You know, it takes 21 days to change an easy behavior, 90 days to change a harder habit or belief, and a lifetime to change all of those things that we want to continually create the life we love living. You know, we don't just get strong and then think we'll always be strong. We have to continue our exercise, just like we have to continue this way of thinking.